He wrote this. He started this in 1995, and he continues to roll on. And if you are a college football fan, this is like Christmas for most of you. Well, all of you, because I know as soon as I got mine, it became Christmas once again. He is Phil Steele, the one and only that is bringing you the Phil Steele College Football Preview. And Phil, as always, thank you so much for joining us. I get excited every time because it means football season is upon us.
Yeah, it's only about 40 some plus days away, but always good being on the show with you guys.
No, we're excited about it. So let's get right into it because obviously the Texas Longhorns being here, being the flagship station where you can hear all your games right here on AM 1300, the Zone. But the Texas Longhorns have turned this program around since Steve Sarkisian first got here. Obviously 5-7, you start to see continuous growth, and it doesn't look like this team is slowing down, especially now that you have Arch Manning as the starting quarterback.
Yeah, and this year's Texas team loaded with talent. You look at the quarterback, as you mentioned, Arch Manning. They've got my number 3 set of running backs in the country, and even though they lose their top 3 receivers from last year, they're pretty much in the same shape they were last season. Remember, they lost their top 3 guys last year. They still have 10 what I call VHTs, or very highly touted receivers. They're my number 5 receiving core. Defensive line, linebackers, DBs, all top 10. Special teams are even up there. I've got them at number 6. Probably the one biggest question I have with Texas would be the offensive line losing 4 starters. But I think when you look at pure talent on the team, you can make a case that Texas might have the most talented team in the country.
Phil, you have a book called the Bible. When people start listing your publication as the sports Bible, it's got to make you feel real good about yourself and all the work that you put into this.
Yeah, I tell you what, we pour 7 months of effort into this magazine each and every year. I start the Sunday after Thanksgiving and go all the way through the first week of June. I talk to probably 125 plus head coaches, going over their entire roster, spend about an average of an hour a piece, been doing it for 31 years. So it's a lot of effort put into it, but yes, you are very correct. When people refer to it as the Bible, it makes me very happy, and it makes all that effort well worth it.
You have to also feel great about not having a boss. I mean, you're the editor, the writer, the producer. Like you own the publication company. Like, man, you're doing it big. Are we gonna see you on Forbes anytime soon?
I don't think we'll get there, but you know what? When I'm watching my 12 games on Saturday and I'm thinking that's work, it's not really work, is it, guys? When you're watching 12 football games and that's your job. So I tell you what, I'm living the life right now.
That's what it's all about. We're talking to Phil Steele. He is the author, editor, the chief. He is the CEO. He is the man when it comes to Phil Steele's college football preview. And we wanted to talk about this too, because you said that the Texas Longhorns right now, you have them as your 26th ranked offensive line. And there's some guys on there that are making some waves. Obviously, DJ Campbell's getting a lot of pub, but a guy that really stands out to us is Trevor Goosby. He continued to show when he got his opportunities, the ability to grow, and it seems like he's just getting better and better.
Yeah, and you're looking at a guy that's 6'7", 314 pounds. And, I like the versatility starting at both tackle spots last year, played in all 15 games. And he wasn't one of the highest-rated guys coming out of high school, but he sure looks like it. He's got the size, and as you mentioned, when thrown into the fire last year, he played extremely well.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, he did play well. Hard asked me before you came on, like, was there something really particular that you want to ask Phil? And I said, yeah, I want to ask him. With the world of sports and college football, it's very cliquey, and everybody in the SEC just was bashing Texas. Texas is not ready. And now here we are, right before August, and everybody's glowing about Texas. Like, what is the deal?
Yeah, and I think when you look at Texas this year, they're probably going to be the pick to win the SEC by the SEC media this year. Probably come in the highest ranked team in the country as far as the SEC goes. It just speaks volumes of the job that Steve Sarkisian has done recruiting wise. You just look at the overall talent of this team, and in the era of the playoffs, guys, you got to have depth. And I think that Sarkisian has been building great depth. I mean, you look at their second string, you've got a lot of guys who would start for most other teams. So I just think the overall talent that Texas has and the fact that they've made the playoff each of the last 2 years, all of a sudden, all those Texas doubters are saying, well, you know what, maybe we were wrong. And Texas does indeed have it. No, I mean, to make the playoffs 2 straight years, and they're going to make it a 3rd straight year this year, that really shows what Sarkisian's doing.
So let me ask you this, because you have Arch Manning as your second team quarterback. Grant Newsmeyer is your first team quarterback on your all SEC preseason team. But Oklahoma's got their guy. South Carolina's got their guy. So what is it about Newsmeyer and LSU that makes them one of the teams to pay attention to in the SEC this year?
Well, I think with Nussmeier, you look at the fact that he's going to throw the football probably a little bit more than Manning will. You look at last year, Nussmeier threw for over 4,000 yards at a 28-12 ratio. He's got an outstanding receiving core coming back. Probably, definitely a more experienced receiving core than Arch Manning is thrown to this year. Both teams, LSU and Texas, are young at the offensive line position, so that is a question mark for both. But I think Nussmeier is probably going to throw for more yards this year, and that's why I put him number 1 in the SEC as far as the first team coming in. But there's no doubting the talent that Arch Manning has. And I think that Arch Manning coming in for Texas this year gives that quarterback position the run ability that they lacked last season. And remember last year at the end of the season, while Quinn Ewers had a really good year, sort of tallied off down the stretch a little bit. The last 5 games, it was only an 8-6 ratio. I think we're going to see more downfield passing with Arch Manning as well.
Yeah, he's one of those special deep ball throwers, and people love the deep ball around here. So let me ask you this, before we transition, I wanted to ask about Texas A&M, because obviously us being here, we have close proximity. You got to find out about your enemies as well. So what do you think about Texas A&M and Coach Elko coming up this season?
I'm a big fan of Coach Elko. You go back and look what he did as a defense coordinator at A&M. You go back and look what he did as the head coach at Duke. I can tell you, each year at Duke, he surpassed my expectations, and once again last year at A&M, surpassed my expectations again. I think with Marcel Reed, if he can stay healthy, he gives him that mobile quarterback that can be dangerous. They've got a very deep running back core, not quite as deep as Texas, but very deep. They've got a veteran offensive line, and this is an offensive line that, when I talked to Coach Elko last year going over the squad, he said, hey, we got a fair to middling offensive line. This year, he told me their offensive line will contend for the Joe Moore Award. So I think that he pretty much tells me like it is, and they look good there. They had in the KC Concepcion, a wide receiver. And remember, this is a Texas A&M team that was 1 game away from actually playing in the SEC title game. So they did not finish the season well. They lost their last 3 games last year, 4 of the last 5 games. But I think A&M could sneak in there and be a contender in the SEC. So I think it's going to be a strong year, and I think they topped last year's 8-win total.
Phil, your expertise, give me your offensive and defensive player that is not the guys that everybody thinks. You went through all of these players in college football that you unexpectedly know are going to be a success.
Wow, that's a good one. Naturally, a couple of names pop out. I put most of my guys on the first team that I think are going to be first team. I guess one guy to watch for SEC fans that aren't familiar with him might be Jaden Ott of Oklahoma. When you look at him at Cal 2 years ago, Jaden Ott was just spectacular. And then last year, Ott was banged up, and he was not 100% the entire year. So he didn't have the type of year expected. So I don't know if Jaden Ott's on a lot of folks' lists, but I've got him first team SEC. I think he's going to have a big year this year, and I look for him to recapture the form he had 2 years ago.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Phil Steele. You can follow him at Phil Steele 042 on social media. And of course, you can go to philsteele.com and place your orders, or Barnes and Nobles. And where else are you located?
Yeah, exclusively at Barnes & Nobles and Books A Million. Those are the two locations to go get them. Get them while they're still there. And then, as you mentioned, philsteele.com. We charge you a shipping charge if you order it at philsteele.com, but we give you the digital magazine for free. And we actually update the digital magazine all the way through the start of September. So Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, philsteele.com.
Yeah, and I'm always on that digital one because it is always updated. As always, Phil, I appreciate you taking the time and continue your book tour because it's going to be a busy one.
Hey, love talking football with you guys. Appreciate you having me on.
No problem.